I don't care what you think.
I'm not changing my show. I'm an artist and this is how I choose to express myself. So then what do you have to tell them? I'm not changing my show.
The best advice I can give anyone, male or female, is that, you have to really believe in what you're doing. Being able to do what you want to do with your life. You have to be really passionate about what you do and really believe in what you do, because there's going to be a lot of fights and battles and struggles along the way. So my best advice is to really believe and love what you do. You always have to fight for things that are worth it. So put your boxing gloves on. And if I didn't have a huge ego, I wouldn't be here. I mean, I'm a rebel, and, that's the stance of a rebel. I don't care what you think.
You are listening to the Drag Dungeon Podcast with your hosts, Jay and John.
Hey! Welcome back to the broadcast, your favorite podcast. You asked for this shit if you're easily offended. We don't recommend it. You asked for this shit, so here it is.
What the fuck do you think you're doing?
I'm not changing my show. I'm an artist and this is how I choose to express myself.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Drag Dungeon Podcast. If you're new here, I'm John and this is Jay.
Hey.
As you know, Madonna is releasing her Finally Enough Love 50 #1 hits remixed collection soon, so we decided to take a look back at the album artwork for all of her studio albums, compilations, and live releases. Note that we won't be looking at singles or international versions in this video simply because there are far too many to count.
This is by no means a definitive list. We're just fans, just like you, and thought it would be fun to comment on our favorite artist album covers from the beginning of her career to present day. We present to you Album Art History, Madonna Edition. And
we will start with the debut album.
Yes, where it all began.
Madonna, self-titled, released July 27th, 1983.
Yes, before God said let there be light, it was this album.
And on the seventh day, this album was released.
Madonna.
What do you think about this cover?
I think that, well, first of all, the photographer was Gary Heery, but I don't know if that means anything to anyone because I don't know who that is. Supposedly, there was another cover created by Madonna and someone else, but it didn't go over well, so they scrapped it, and they made this one. I think this really encompasses, where Madonna was at the time, because she was such a club kid, and, she started that band, The Breakfast Club, and they kind of kicked it off to where Madonna was I don't need you, bitches, and she stepped out on her own and did Lucky Star, and, handed her tapes out to DJs in clubs and got her start. I don't know if everybody knows that about Madonna. She did all this shit herself. She really did. And I think this, encompasses kind of, her look and sort of, beginning of her powerhouse pop persona.
I do love it, especially since, she's not smiling, she's not cheesing on the cover looking corny. And this is a pretty iconic cover. I did read, of course, who really knows what's true or not. I did read that there was another option presented to her and she said it wasn't iconic enough, and that was a
yes.
And so they chose this, and I have to say I think this holds up. It's really simple, the style. I really like it's just very simple and iconic. I like it. And we're going to be saying iconic a lot, so.
Right, we will be. And I like how she's got her hands in a fist, she's pulling on her necklaces. It's kind of it's just a very powerful, I think, picture. And I love it.
I know, I wish I had a higher resolution. Some of these, it's very hard to find real high-res pictures of, but we did the best we could. Now, this was, again, re-released the following year in 1985, and here's that cover.
Now, this cover here, let's see. So, 1985 version is a bit different. It's color, first of all. And I keep reading stuff about showing off her her crucifix earring. So I know, when Madonna, I guess this was re-released, I think maybe after Like a Virgin. And I know, her style really took off, which we'll get to Like a Virgin in a minute here, then with her lots of crucifixes and stuff, became, everyone was wearing that. This was a real fashion kickoff, and I think when they re-released this, they wanted to bring that into the cover. I'm not really sure why they re-released this, quite honestly, because who does that? They re-release an album 2 years
The debut
later?
album. Just keep putting it out until people buy it. Just keep switching the cover.
Well, I mean, they do that now, I guess, kind of. With,
They do.
Special editions, and some albums they put out with like 10 different covers just to get you to buy them. Janet Jackson, like, people do that.
I have to say, this one just screams 80s. Of course, Madonna is the 80s, but to me, the first one is almost like timeless, whereas this one is like of the era. So, not mad at it, but I still prefer the original.
Yes, I think this one seems very like released by Rhino Records version to me. You know what I mean?
Rhino Records.
Like, yeah, kind of like more like that than something official. I guess it's just not as powerful.
Okay, Like a Virgin, November 12th, 1984.
Okay, Like a Virgin. That was photographed by Steven Meisel, who Madonna worked with a lot over the years. And what do you think of this one?
Another black and white. Well, it's actually like sepia, I think. I think this is a very good cover. Also, I love the wedding dress. I love the title of the album. I think it's pretty perfect.
Well, I know with this, like, there was a thing about Madonna trying to bring sort of some, like, religious aspects into thing.
And it would
like
never
this,
stop.
No, right. This whole, like, Virgin Mary versus the whore version, like, I know that was kind of like... And that her belt, her boy toy belt, became very iconic. And, people wore that, bought probably knockoffs of that belt and wore them. And I know it's kind of sarcasm, I think, for her. And in a way, at least that's kind of how I look at it. Like, boy toy, she isn't. And everyone knows that. It's just like irony. Because Madonna always talks about irony. Like, she's so ironic. She's talked about that her whole career. Like, people just don't get me. They just don't get my irony. But I think that's it. And yeah, you're right. This is... I don't know how they could have made this better.
I think it's just like a case of this. She really was destined to be Madonna. I mean, she has the perfect name to play off of all the religious crap. She's sexy. I mean, so the only thing I would change here as a graphic designer would be the font of her name. I don't care for, but that is really splitting hairs. This is a great cover.
And just think, like, she did this and then she performed at the MTV Awards where she was in the wedding dress and rolled around on the floor and stuff. That just went right along. I love a moment that ties in with an album cover. I'm like,
I do too. I love a tie-in.
It's amazing.
So, you said Steven Meisel. Was he the sex book guy too?
Steve, yeah, I think so.
We'll look it up. But the next one is True Blue,
Yes.
released May 30th, 86. You know what I'm dreaming of.
Yes. So this, over the years, True Blue, to be honest, was never my favorite Madonna album. Like,
Yeah.
it has some good songs, but it's not my favorite. And even this album cover, as iconic as it is, and some people say this is her best, most timeless album cover, very fashiony, very, like ties in with this persona she was kind of trying to embody then about this like girl group feel, like what Grease 60s, whatever, the song True Blue, and she was in love with Sean Penn and trying to pull this like Sandy, Danny Zuko sort of relationship off on us, even though Sean Penn was not like
Tying her to chairs
really,
and stuff.
right, that kind of thing. But having said that, this is by her Ritz, who Madonna also worked with a lot
Very
over
famous
the years.
fashion photographer.
Yes, and this is a cropped photo. So there's like a full photo here, which they're all kind of cropped, but you know what I mean. There's like
there's a
full-
poster of this. You can get the whole body. I think it is a beautiful cover. This is also not my favorite album because of that. It's a little too like wholesome feeling for me, whereas I prefer dirtier Madonna. Dirty, sexy, slutty. Dirty, sexy money. I'm not calling her those things. I'm just saying that's more the vibe I enjoy. And this was a little too like, is it the video for True Blue that has her with Debbie Mazar and they're in the poodle skirts?
Yeah, whatever.
Like
it
didn't speak to me.
Yeah.
But just
Well, no, yeah, this is like a new era of Madonna. I mean, you have this, this is a total, like her first probably total kind of reinvention. I mean, before you had, like you said, like the dirty Madonna, like the dark roots, messy, like, golden blonde sort of look. And by the way, what's your favorite song from like the pre-True Blue era?
Gosh, you're putting me on the spot like that.
Is there one?
Give me some options. Give me some singles.
Some singles. Okay. Well, this is just sort of,
I don't like Holiday.
No, that doesn't. What's your like? My favorite is Burning Up. Is my favorite Madonna. It's one of my favorite all-time Madonna songs, as well as for the that era. Like, okay, so what's that time frame?
I'm gonna say Like a Virgin. That's a basic choice, but I'm gonna say Like a Virgin. But
that's not basic.
The Blonde Ambition tour version.
Okay. So
which comes later, but I do since the song is technically before then. I'll say Like a Virgin. What about you?
Okay, that's a good choice. Yeah,
you said
mine's
Burning Up.
Yeah, Burning Up is my, and I like Dress You Up I think is a really great.
That is a
song
good one
as well. And Into the Groove wasn't on one of these albums, but it's still really.
It's a hard for me. This was really like the '80s Madonna's before I really got into her, so I'm not as familiar with these albums. But they re-released the 35th anniversary of True Blue in 2021. Yes. And it has a different cover that's still in the same kind of blue, black, and white theme. I think it's a really beautiful cover for a re-release because they can fuck those up a lot of times. This seems... I think they got it pretty right. Do you?
Well, my only thing is with bringing it back after so many years, I would hope they would do a cover that was... It's pretty, it's fine, but I want something to jump out at me. Like, maybe use it, but still zoom in a little bit. Like, I want to see it and go, ooh. You know what I mean? Like, get some real response from me other than, okay, it's another photograph from then. I don't know. It's good. It's fine. I'm glad they did it, even though I don't think the extra content was super exciting. I believe. I have to look, but I think it's just remixes, like extended versions or something. But
it could have been worse. I do like the font choices for her name and the title of the album. I think are really nice.
And my favorite song from True Blue is Open Your Heart. Just want to say that is my favorite song.
Is Deeper and Deeper on True Blue?
It is not. That is on Erotica.
Erotica. My bad. Okay. The comments are going crazy. You don't know what you're talking. Holy shit.
Like, it is not.
I told you. This is just a casual breeze through. Okay. Like a Prayer released March 21st, 1989.
Yes. This photograph is by Herb Ritz.
So, yeah, if it ain't broke.
No. And I have to tell you, this is one of my very favorite album covers. And it is the only straight release Madonna album cover that does not have her face.
You made it when you don't have to put your face on the album.
Yes, you don't. And it's surprising that, I mean, this is her fourth album, and she's like, she did not even have to put her face. And if you do some research, you can see the full picture that this is cropped from. And I want to say, I don't have my CD, but I think it unfolds. And one really interesting thing about this album that everybody may not know is that it came scented with patchouli oils when it was released.
I did not know that. That must have been logistically difficult.
Oh, for sure. And this supposedly, it also came with safe sex guidelines. So Madonna already was showing her, support for... safe sex, gay community, all of that.
Yeah, because this was all going down during the beginning of the AIDS pandemic.
Yes.
Okay. Next is Erotica, October 20th, 1992.
We have lots to say about this.
So much to say.
This is oh, by the way, favorite song from Like a Prayer is probably Like a Prayer.
Yeah.
I wanted to throw that in there.
Like a Prayer. Now, Erotica, I put a little description here because I feel like this is where her concept album, Madonna is kind of known for her, she is the concept album queen, and this is kind of where it all began. And I think for a lot of different artists, they were taking notes about she had this, she had the sex book, all these different things, like you said, tying in. So a concept album is a collection of songs written by a musician or a group, or performed by, that is based around a central theme or concept. This one is clearly sex. These themes can be compositional, lyrical, instrumental, or narrative. And this, I would have to say, is kind of the ultimate concept album. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. This was photographed by Stephen Meisel, who did the sex book. And, this album cover, if you, take it and you tilt it back, because she's laying down, it's, from this, all these images inside are from the sex book, too. But that's where this album cover is. It's part of a larger picture where she has her hands, on her chest. And I love this. And this is my favorite Madonna era.
Me too.
And I believe it's hers, too. Yes. is from Erotica. I do have the book, and I know you have the book, and you want to tell what you did with the book.
Well, the first time I bought the book, I went through, look, I'm a bitch on a budget, and this was sacrilege. I went through and ripped out the pages with my favorite photos to frame for my apartment, and then I resold the book on eBay.
Oh my God.
But I think it was the French or Japanese version or something, so it wasn't even like, you know, those are more common than the English version, so.
Yeah, my friend had the French version when I was in college, but I did not buy the book until way later. But I remember, and I do have the U.S. version, but I do remember seeing it at a college bookstore and just being like, God damn it, I want that. And it was like $50 or something at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah, 50. Well, let's talk about the album first, then we'll get to the book. But I understand your excitement. Let's talk about the album briefly first. I wouldn't even consider this her best album, but because of all the visuals and the tie-ins and the book and everything, it all is so cohesive that it makes me love it more. Even though there's some songs on the album that I don't care for. But my favorite is Thief of Hearts.
Yeah, you know, that's the thing about this album. There's so much about this album to say because it's like nothing anyone's ever done or ever will again. I mean, you take an extremely, extremely, like, popular artist, very single-oriented, very radio hits, charts-oriented artist, and then she does a completely uncommercial album. Like, there is no song on this album that is a commercial-worthy single. I mean, that's not a criticism. This is just the truth. Deeper and Deeper, maybe, but none of the other songs are like, look at what she's done in the past. True Blue, Cherish. You know, like...
Yeah, she was probably at a point where she could go to the record label and be like, look, I'm doing this. I'm doing something that's going to creatively fulfill me. I don't care if it's... You know, I think she has always cared if her shit would be on the radio, but she was like, look, I've done it. Kind of like... I hate to compare, but Kelly Clarkson kind of did the same thing. She had like 10 albums, and she actually wanted to write some of her own songs and things which she hadn't done before. And she went to the guy at the record label and they're like, we don't want to release this. And she said, I've made you a lot of money. I'm putting this out. So you get a little bit of negotiating power.
Well, that and Madonna started Maverick Records. So this is partly on her own label. So she probably paid for a lot of this to be made. And she got to do whatever she wanted. I think this album cover, because it's from the Sex Book and everything, is perfect for this. I love it. My favorite song is... Oh God, I'm going to say Deeper and Deeper. But this really, the darkness in this album, the like deep club feel, it is like never been done before. And like I said, and never will be.
Because it's not like cutesy sexy. It's not like Britney Spears sexy. It's like grungy and, you know, fucking in a dirty bathroom stall. It's very, you know, and I love the album cover, and then we'll move on. I love the album cover because it's like her cum face. And speaking of which, of fonts, I love the font.
I love the font.
I know you have a Prince tattoo. I was just looking at this and I'm like, if I were ever to get a tattoo, I would probably get like the Erotica just in that font right there. It would be so cute.
For sure. Absolutely gorgeous. And one thing too about this album, what was I going to say? I had something specific about saying about this album and the tie-in with the songs. Oh, you had said, like, as far as like the sex is concerned, like we always say that an artist, most artists, pop artists, have their erotica. Like it's their album that's their dirtiest, sexiest one. Like Britney Spears, it's probably In the Zone, even though I'd like to say it's Blackout, but In the Zone is way more like going so far from like Madonna. Well, I mean, Madonna was coming off of Justify My Love, so she already had a taste of this, but I just feel like maybe Britney's might be In the Zone. But anyway, we always say that an artist has their erotica.
They do. We included the back cover here because it's so iconic also. We didn't do this for everyone.
I have a poster of this. My friend said it always looked like she's eating a taco, but she's really sucking on.
I don't think that's what it looks like.
But I have a poster of this. It's very rare.
I've seen your poster. You showed me that. It's such a cool image, very controversial image that I believe is Naomi Campbell's toe in her mouth.
Hot.
And
I have this on vinyl, but I don't have the white.
I have it on vinyl, but I don't know what color the LPs are. I don't know. Okay, so we put in some different editions here. We didn't do this for everything, but because this was re-released and put on vinyl, it's fun to see. I love the white is beautiful. And
the book is supposed to look like a big condom, and it's very poorly put together. Like that's the one thing I got criticism, like the wires and stuff were unbending and like cutting people's hands and stuff. Like it's a problem.
Yeah, let's talk about the book for a minute. It came in this beautiful, wrapped up, you know, like a dirty magazine.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
With her cum face picture from the cover.
Yeah.
It is aluminum bound, which sounds cool. The spiral bound was the biggest mistake of the whole thing.
Yes, that's the part that's the problem.
And also the aluminum got scratched up, but I don't really think, unless you're like trying to keep it pristine, I kind of like the scratches. It just adds to like the grunge of it. But the pages do get fucked up. If you're actually flipping it through, if you really are a collector, I would say get one to just keep out and you don't care about, and then just get a nice one. That's a lot of money, but some people take this shit real seriously. It was a New York Times bestseller. I never knew that. And it also is the fastest and best-selling coffee table book of all time.
Yeah, and some libraries do have it, but you can't leave with it.
Like, do you want to check out a room? We have a back room. You can read this, review these materials in. So we included some pictures from this. You can still get this on eBay. Of course, it is much more than $50. Can you imagine $50?
I know. I should have bought like 10 of them.
I know. Give me a time machine. I'll go back and buy a case of these suckers. Did you say it came with a CD in the condom wrapper? Is that what you said?
It did, but the whole thing I think was supposed to look like a condom. And then the CD inside, and it had that comic book inside, Adventures of Dita or something like that. And all of these, very famous photos that became covers of magazines, sketches on Mad TV. Like, this really was a cultural moment that I think it swept, kind of to the side a little bit. But I think so many artists, like you said, took cues from this and took notes and, applied it to what they do. And we wouldn't have some albums if it wasn't for Erotica. It's just true.
Yeah. The CD single is Erotica. I do have the CD single. I don't have the condom wrapper. Let's move on to, we could go on about Erotica all
forever,
and maybe we will. Let's talk about Bedtime Stories, which was released October 25th, 1994. So she took a little break between.
Well, she was licking her wounds, is what she was doing.
I know, and just one more thing before Bedtime Stories. Madonna has waffled. She's gone back and forth on whether she loves Erotica, she regrets it, She's gone, depending on the interview you're watching, she either loves it or hates it.
Now I think she embraces it. Now, because she doesn't give a fuck what anybody thinks. She has more money than God. She doesn't care. Now I think she totally embraces it. But you're right. Like, right afterwards, she loved it, no regrets, like, she went back
and wait till we get to the sequel to Erotica, Rebel Heart, which is coming out soon.
Yes.
Okay, Bedtime Stories.
Okay, this was photographed by French photographer Patrick Demarchelier. I think that's how you pronounce it, but I could be wrong.
Okay, so here's the first cover. We're calling this Upside Down.
Well, right side up. I don't know how you want to call it.
I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah. The thing with this album was, when it was created, I don't know what happened. Like, somehow it was submitted wrong, supposedly. And it has it where she's like, her head is at the top. Let's say that. This is the head is at the top.
Okay.
And then the one that it's supposed to be is her head is at the bottom. It's from what I understand.
Now, this cover, I do love the picture. Well, I don't love the way her face looks in the picture because it's not supposed to be facing like this. But I do love the color palette. I love the pink name, the font, the blue sheets, the way the text kind of overlaps each other. I think it's stylistically very beautiful. But this cover, compared to the correct one, which is coming up next, I much prefer the second one.
Yeah, this was criticized by several people because of her nose ring. They thought that it took away from what she was trying to do here, and people didn't like when she had a nose ring either. I read something like Norman Mailer said, if you look at this, it just looks like some girl who happens to look like Madonna. You would see it and go, oh, she looks like Madonna. She doesn't look like herself. Well, I mean, partly it's because she has a ton of makeup on, first of all. And the nose ring, I don't know, it does take away a little bit from the iconicness.
But isn't this album had more R&B elements and stuff? So I think she's trying to look a little. I mean, she's so just classically beautiful here. I mean, there's a lot of makeup, yes, but it's a very toned down Madonna.
Oh, I love it. This isn't criticism as much as critiquing.
Yeah.
Like, I love it. I love the red lip. I love this pastel. I love that she went from this, like, erotica hard getting fucked in the back of a bar to this bedtime stories, like, soft, lacy. And I'm sure that it's totally Madonna being like, all right, bitches, if you don't like me getting fucked in a bar, how about I just tell you some night-night stories?
Some night. Yeah, I think the nose ring was her just being like, I'm going to have a little edge. I look so pretty in this picture.
Well, she loves a prop. I mean, Madame X and the eye patch, she loves a prop, so it's a prop for her. Like, she had cigarettes that she doesn't really smoke. She says that it's for photo shoots. She loves a prop.
Yeah, but what she doesn't mention is she does photo shoots 7 days a week.
I know, right? All the time. And, you know, this album, if you remember, like, whenever she was promoting it, she did that bedtime stories where she read that Mrs. Spider or whatever story, like, at that MTV celebration for the release, and she was wearing this, like, nightgown that her boobs kept popping out of. And the audience wouldn't shut up, and she kept shushing them, and it went on and on and on of her shushing them because they wouldn't shut up, and she's reading this story. I'm like, what is this? What is this?
Also, one of the best videos, Human Nature.
Very good. And, you know, she worked with the song written by Bjork, the title track, produced by Nellie Hooper.
That's a great song, too.
Yes, the whole thing. And she's tried to do this Jean Harlow. You know, so much stuff went on around here. Like, she went on David Letterman and cursed it up, and then she did I'll Remember, which I think is one of her best ballads. I love the I'll Remember. Anyway, and then she went back to this Jean Harlow thing, and, like, I don't know. Oh, and one little tidbit, and then we can move on to the next one, is, Christina Aguilera, her Back to Basics album was criticized because it looked too much like Bedtime Stories. I didn't know.
Girl, that's the best thing that could have ever happened to her, because I'm not into that album at all.
No, it is. Ruined her, probably. But anyway.
Now, we're doing a little time jump here and you're all going to be like, because we're going to talk about Ray of Light, but you're going to be like, what about Evita? What about her baby? Okay, that's coming later. Remember, we're just doing studio albums first. We'll get to that. Ray of Light, kind of her big comeback after that, all February 22nd, 1998.
Yes, and this photog was by Mario Testino. And the story behind this album cover is that supposedly they were shooting a lot, and it was like 2 p.m. or whatever, and Madonna's like, I'm done, I hate this, I'm gonna leave. And he's like, no, we're gonna do some more. And this was like one of the last photographs taken. I have a big poster of this, a big square awkward that I can't get framed unless I want to pay like $100.
Is it the size of an album, a vinyl?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
it's a big poster. It's just
like the ones they used to have in Sam Goody behind the cashier, with backlit.
Maybe, or one that they would have like out on the window, like the big one out on the window. It's a nice size poster. I love it, but every time I think about getting it framed, I think that's going to cost me like $200 to get that framed, and then I don't do it.
Back in the day, kids, you could go to Sam Goody or whatever, and you could ask for the promotional artwork.
Oh my God.
And
yes.
A lot of times, I got it.
Yes, or you have to go back. They're like, come back next week. We'll be taking it down. And then you're like there the second they open that day. And you're like, is it down yet?
Because I asked for this one, and I said, I think this is the first time I had ever done it. I was like, do people ever, what do you do with those when they're done? They're like, oh, we just go. It's like, has anybody asked for that? And they're like, yeah, somebody asked for this one already. It is, in my opinion, a perfect album cover. It is so beautiful.
Perfect.
Her skin is glowy. The look in her eyes, maybe she's tired here, but it looks, bedroom eyes. I love the blue, I love the font, and I love the little ray of light symbol that they put on everything. I love the branding of the whole thing.
Now, this album itself, and if you go back through other ones, like Erotica has so many like photo shoots involved for Vanity Fair, for Vogue, for God, Entertainment, like every magazine you could think of, and Madonna used those photos for album cover, for single covers, like iconic ones for Bad Girl, all that. Anyway, this is similar. Like, she took so many photographs from this photo session and reused them. Like, the Frozen single is this basically yellow, like same look. Like the there's like several Ray of Light singles.
Ray of Light, Nothing Really Matters.
Yes, she's used a lot of these.
Substitute for Love.
Yes, Substitute for Love. Like a lot of this style. This was definitely Madonna era for Ray of Light.
And I have to say, I love her hair here. This kind of long, loose, golden curls. So pretty. We've never really seen her like that before. So this is like Madonna. I'm a grown woman now. I have a baby. I have zero criticism about that. And this is obviously regarded as her best album by many people.
By a lot of people. And supposedly she wanted to call it Mantra or Veronica Electronica when it started, which I'm so glad she didn't. Those
Me
are
too.
terrible names. Ray of Light's perfect. And, interesting, not long either, I think maybe after, Kylie Minogue put out that Light Years album, which I always thought was interesting.
Loosely inspired by, maybe?
I don't remember which one's first, so don't read me. I don't remember which one. But
Commenters. They're coming. Everybody knows Madonna invented light.
That is correct. She did. My God.
Now let's move on to Music, released September 18th, 2000. Now what's fun about Music is this is right when Napster was happening.
Last night, Madonna's manager issued the following statement. The music was stolen and was not intended for release for several months. It is still a work in progress. Ultimately, those sites that offer to download Madonna's music are violating her rights as an artist. The video for Music was shot in Los Angeles a couple of weeks ago by Ray of Light director Jonas Åkerlund.
And tracks were leaking online, including Music, and what else was? There was another one too. I forgot.
Like what songs? Because there were definitely other songs. Like that song, Not For Me, I think I remember was on there. Like, I don't know, maybe more than one. But.
Yeah, and they always say they're demos. I don't know if that was really a demo, but Music was definitely leaked weeks before it was supposed to be released, so we put a little news clip in here. But then she got crafty with her next album with Napster. If you're not old enough to know what Napster was, file sharing networks, it's kind of like you would log on and just download music for free, and there were zero repercussions. Everybody did it. All your friends and family did. Everybody did it. And a few people did get taken to court. Like I remember Mariah Carey sued like a 13-year-old girl or something and took her to court for like $100,000. So it was a big problem before iTunes and everything was a thing. So, but Madonna definitely fell victim to that. I know it was a huge bummer. Her music has gotten stolen many times before it was actually released, so I felt bad about it.
Yeah, one thing that's interesting about this album that I recently learned is that American Pie, the song that Madonna, I don't understand why she ever did, that was from The Next Best Thing, was included on the European version. I'm like, what? That is sick.
I feel bad for the collectors because I have to have every version of everything, and I'm like, damn, they could probably spend all that money. Remember how expensive import CDs were if you were just buying them at the store too?
And now they're like worthless.
Worthless. Go on eBay and get it for a penny.
So John Baptiste Mondino did this photograph for this album cover. What do you think of it? What do you think?
I actually love it, but I can't tell if it's... Well, I do love, again, with the branding, the stamp of her belt buckle with her name and the Western writing and everything. I really love that, and it's on all the singles. The CD singles for this album all have that cool stamp branding across all of them. It's so cool. So, but part of me is like, do I just love this because of the time in my life? Or do I really think it's artistically just a great shot? It's a fine photo. I don't know. You tell me.
Well, it's one of my least favorites. I just feel like this was a lazy...
It's simple.
Topic, concept, whatever. Very lazy, very simple. This is the first time I looked at Madonna's album covers, and I'm sure she was, photoshopped, corrected, whatever in the past, but this is the first, to me, set of photographs I could just tell she was smoothed over so much, and I was just disappointed when I first saw like the inside photograph. There's one that totally looks like she was doctored up, and I don't like that. Like, I don't like that I can tell by looking at it. Like, I'm like, her jaw is squarer than it normally is. I'm like, clearly somebody did something with that. I just feel like it's just lazy styling. Like, put her in a Western shirt and a hat, and I think it's lazy.
It was it may be lazy or just a bad choice or one that we don't care for, but it was very popular. Like, it was easily recognizable. She was the only one really doing that.
Yes, I agree.
So it was even referenced in an episode of Absolutely Fabulous when she's like, Madonna has spoken, cowboy hats are back. Like, because Madonna is Eddie's,
Yeah. And Michelle Visage's.
But I think this was a time during Ray of Light, Music, and what came after that? American Life. Madonna was very gaunt. She was doing all the yoga. She was actually very thin, and I think maybe she almost looked a little too thin. And now, whereas she has the puffy face because of the fillers and everything, this was a time when she was super fit.
She was. And she was married to Guy Ritchie. and going through all of that. I don't know. I don't hate this. I just never was in love with it, and I don't really enjoy the song. Don't Tell Me, which had a lot of Western theme.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just didn't really love it. Oh, we didn't say our favorite song from Ray of Light. What's your favorite song from Ray of Light? And then we'll
Frozen.
Frozen. Yes, that is the correct answer.
But I love them all. Every single one I love.
Yes, everyone. And this album, I really like the song Impressive Instant a lot from this album.
Oh,
but
I do too.
music, I mean, seriously, you couldn't. That is like
It's a
perfect
banger.
pop
It's a
song.
perfect song.
Yes.
What would you do if somebody came to you and was like, I wrote this song for you, it's called Music? You'd be like, what the fuck? Could it be more basic? But it's an incredible song. My actual favorite song, but it has, the video plays into it, is What It Feels Like for a Girl, the remix with the video where she kills herself in the grandma. So that's my favorite.
I love the B-side to this. It's called Cyber Raga.
Mm-hmm.
That might be my favorite. It's the B-side to Music.
I miss a good B-side, man. Bring it back.
Yes. Ray of Light had good That Has to Be song. Oh, such a good song.
Okay, let's move forward. Since Music came out, 9/11 happened. Now, we're not just bringing that up to bring down the vibe of the video, but it does play into the theme for the next album, American Life, released April 21st, 2003.
Yes, and the photos by M.M. Paris. They were responsible. Oh no, the Craig McDean did the photography, excuse me, and then M.M. Paris were responsible for the design or something. And she's supposed to be reminiscent of Che Guevara. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Sorry if I am. And also Patty Hearst.
Oh, Patty Hearst! I never thought about that. That's a great reference. Here's where you see Madonna was trying to get ahead of the file sharing Napster network and everything, and she put out fake versions of her songs with "What the fuck do you think you're doing?" and thought you'd get away with it, didn't you? Like
the fuck
all
do you
these
think
little.
you're
I
doing?
remember them because I tried downloading it.
Snap.
But I really love this album. The cover it's iconic, but it's very polarizing.
This is a very polarizing album. I remember news programs having like discussions about it, like probably Piers Morgan, or like, because he hates Madonna, or Larry King or somebody was saying, can Madonna even make a good album anymore? Like, that's what they were saying.
Oh yeah,
Which
she
is
was
crazy because,
crucified.
yeah, music was so big, so what are you talking about? Of course she can. This was just, I felt like she was trying to present herself, well, obviously with the image of a revolutionary, and this is when she started really trying to make grander statements, even though she did that in the past. But I feel
Political.
like, trying to take on the war, all of this, stuff, like the video for American Life was like redone because they didn't like that it had so much violence in it and stuff. And Madonna, except for maybe Like a Prayer, she has dark hair prominently.
She looks beautiful with the brown hair.
Mm-hmm. And she had some weird performances on TV where she like had pony pigtails with the hat, and like, I don't know, the styling was weird. What's your favorite song from this?
Oh, I love so many of them. I love Ecstatic Process. My favorite is Nobody Knows Me.
Okay, I could probably say that as a favorite. This is probably one Madonna album of, well, there's more than one, but I guess. But this one specifically, I don't know that I have a favorite.
Oh, Die Another Day.
Oh, yes, I would say that as well. However, that
comma.
was released as a part of a movie soundtrack. But yes, I'm going with that too. I love that. We've talked about this before. The maxi single for that, killer.
I'm gonna say if the cover of this album put you off, or all the drama surrounding it, I mean, that just makes us more interested. But if you never checked this album out, it is solid. I genuinely like every track, even the Mother and Father. There's some beautiful ballads on it. That's not a ballad.
Love Profusion.
Love Profusion.
Sounds like a perfume commercial. The video looks like a perfume commercial, but it's a really good little ballad. It's a good album. It's good
album. Good Hollywood. I mean, there are a lot of. And even though it's packaged as this big political, statement, that's really not the theme of the album. So, besides American Life.
Madonna does that sometimes. She's all presentation sometimes, where she'll present as something and then the inside's not the same. But, you know what? It worked for her as far as, like, she tried to get some edge. She got some edge.
Let's just quickly touch on she did kind of get fucked with. She made the video for American Life, which featured, bombs going off, grenades, children, images of war, soldiers being injured. The original director's cut it's a little horrific just at the end. Otherwise, it's stylistically, I think, really cool. She has like plus size dancers. They're in military garb. They're stomping down a runway with fashion. I think it's pretty cool. But it was a little disturbing, the violence at the end in the original version. They ended up only releasing the version with her singing in front of flags behind her, which was so boring.
Yeah.
And then she released an edited version with like the super violent stuff out. So there's 3 versions of the video.
That just doesn't happen a lot. Like that, Madonna having to do that, like her video drama, like Erotica only being played at nighttime and only like 3 times or something, or like Justify My Love wouldn't get played. Like not very many artists had that drama in their life. Like even Janet Jackson didn't. Prince probably did, but mostly no. She's like one of the only artists that's ever had that happen, I think. And
yeah, it's not like her to edit her own shit, because she likes the controversy. I do remember saying when she was making the Rain video, she was doing an interview and they're like, this is a little more simple and, classy for you. And she's like, well, I'm tired of making music videos that nobody will play. So, Confessions on a Dance Floor, November 9, 2005.
Photographed by Stephen Klein.
Good choice.
This is a different one for Madonna. Now, this is the only other album cover that came close to not showing her face. Like, you do see it, but, she's kind of faced the other way and she's looking up. What did you think of this?
And she made this pose kind of famous. Like, don't you just automatically, you see that, you're like, oh, it's a Madonna reference. I've seen French and Saunders did it in their live show. She did a version of this. Jennifer Saunders did that's really funny. I love the cover. I love the colors, the pink and the disco theme. When she started the tour for this, the disco theme, it was insane. I thought it was going to be overkill for me, but what was this first single, Hung Up?
Yes.
Okay. And I kind of like her with this weird red hair. What do you think?
I thought the red hair was an interesting choice because it's like Madonna was like checking off a list, done blonde, done brunette, done black, check. Done platinum, check. Oh, now redhead, check. I kind of got that from this, but I do love it. I think she looks great and very, very altered. Like the photographs were very altered for this. But I think the style is great. I think that it tells what's inside this album. And it definitely, people took this and ran. Like, look at Kylie Minogue's disco album was very, even though this album isn't a disco album. It has some essence in there.
It's a dance
my favorite
album.
It's a dance album. It's definitely a club DJ album. Like Madonna said that she loves so many of her remixes, some more than the song that she did, so she wanted to put out an album that was basically like remixes, and this is what she did.
And gays everywhere fainted with really, thank God.
And especially after American Life being so, serious and whatever, then to have this, everyone was like, yes.
Yeah, I think this was a strategic pivot. It was definitely a choice to make a fun dance album, another concept album that is just so solid. And there is the version where there's no breaks between the songs, which is so fun. The whole thing is just very listenable, so this was a really good one.
I agree. I think my favorite song from this is probably Hung Up, or followed by maybe Sorry, because I think that's a really great...
I love Hung Up also.
And this one thing to point out too, real quick, is she has a song called Forbidden Love on this. It's like one of Madonna's only double titles. Like she has a song Forbidden Love on Bedtime Story. Not a lot of artists do that.
Oh, I never realized that.
Very, very brave to have 2 songs with the same title.
All right, now we're going to try and hold some restraint. Hard Candy, released April 19th, 2008. The worst day of my life.
Right.
Let's talk about the cover.
Stephen Klein again.
He doesn't put this one on his resume.
No, I think this is... I can't think of one good thing about this album or its cover. I can't.
I don't like any of it either. I remember being intrigued by Hard Candy. Oh, that's a cute, fun, poppy name. Then she's like a boxer on the cover, I don't know what's going on.
There's a few Madonna album covers that just make zero damn ass sense. This is one of them. Like, this makes no sense. Supposedly it's hard and soft, maybe. And there's some photographs that were released around this time that were untouched in there. Don't look them up online because you'll be unhappy if you see them. But I think this, she covers part of her face up with her hand. I never understood why she was doing that.
Her mouth open. It's just weird. I don't know. This was the kind of the beginning of Madonna. What was she like in her 40s here, or maybe mid 40s or something? It was the beginning of trying to like be young. She was doing songs with Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears, and it was just like, what are you doing? So
yes, she was definitely trying to stay. I hate when people say trying to stay relevant, but when you bring Justin Timberlake on and you write a song that doesn't make fucking sense, and you hire like the hottest producers of the time, like Timbaland and what's his name, who did Happy? Pharrell. You bring those people on, and you're putting an album. Like, Madonna's a trendsetter.
And still
she
nobody
cares.
cares.
She's worked with interesting, she's created careers for so many music producers, like Shep Pettibone and Andre Betts and so many. And then to bring, this is like the first time she like brought somebody on that was already super popular, and I just think it was a fail.
Yeah, this was trying her little, in my opinion, trying to assimilate instead of lead, and she's a leader to me.
Yeah, she like wasn't herself. She was trying to be someone else, which Madonna rarely has ever done. So it's pretty shocking that she even did this. And it was the only thing that got out of this that I liked is when she went. I talked about this in a different video that we have. Is when she went on BET and she had all those necklaces on.
Yeah.
And then it was a really terrible interview. The guy's asking was a really bad interviewer and was confusing her and stuff. It was a terrible interview.
Well, let's put it behind us and go to MDNA, released March 23rd, 2012.
Yes, it was.
Well, this, I have to say... okay, let's look at the standard edition first. This kind of mini blinds, Madonna behind the mini blinds thing, I thought was a really cool choice. I love the title of the album, and I like the font. I do prefer the deluxe edition, where it's the close-up of her face. I think it's one of her best album covers, actually. Music aside, I think the covers are really beautiful. What do you think?
Well, the photo was by Merton Marcus, and, it's a drug reference.
Of course.
It's a reference to ecstasy, MDNA, which is really funny. She got a lot of flack for that. And she was showing up at clubs, waving her arms in the air. And one thing about this album is, which Madonna did not care about this album, and it's clear, because there's way too many songs, way too many terrible songs, and she was
all over the place.
Yeah, she was working on her movie. It's like a cash grab, kind of. She was going to do the Super Bowl, and she needed a cheerleading sounding song and put out one of her worst singles of all time, Give Me All Your Lovin'. So to have a great album cover is sort of irritating because you want to love it, and that, yes, both of these editions are really pretty and really cool, I think.
It's just too bad. I mean, we did see the tour, which was great, of course, but the tour isn't necessarily, it wasn't all just music from this album, obviously, but yeah, L-U-V, Madonna, what the fuck was that?
Crap. And I feel bad for Nicki Minaj and MIA that they had to be on that because, they already had a contract signed when they were told what they were going to do. And they're like, okay, fine. And they're like, well, we're going to be on the Super Bowl, so we'll do it. That was probably part of the deal. Like, you do this and you can be in the Super Bowl with Madonna. And they're like, okay. Because MIA was way too cool to be doing this crap.
Yeah, dressed as a cheerleader. I mean, it was weird. I think I would love to know who's turned Madonna down. Because back in the day, I mean, if Madonna calls you, say yes.
Prodigy. Remember my ultimate story about how she wanted to work with a Prodigy and they said no and they were on her label? That's nuts.
And that's right when she was really popular and so were they. So what's the problem? I don't know.
Well, they're hot, Fire. Could you imagine Madonna working with them? Oh my god.
That's why cool.
Yeah, Madonna would have just she could have worked with Aphex Twin. She could have worked with I don't know. I mean, William Orbit was pretty gutsy for her, and there were so many options she could have worked with, and then this is a mess. This album was a mess. She worked with so many people.
I really have to say, though, I don't like Madonna featuring other people. I really just like her by herself. So if they want to produce something, that's cool. But I don't like her voice with other people's voices most of the time, and I'm the same with Britney.
And then, we just talked about the special edition or whatever. The original, I don't really understand the standard version of this, the album cover, what they were doing here. I think it's really pretty. It looks like a fashion shoot because it doesn't have like a story to me, but I do really like it.
And remember, this album was bundled with her tour tickets, which I don't know if that's still legal or not. I think, didn't you say Prince started that bundling with to get your numbers up? And then so the album went to like number 1 or 2 or 10, or it was in the top 10. And like after the ticket sales were gone, it completely dropped off the face of the earth.
Well, Prince did it for Musicology, where he handed out an album with a ticket, and they changed the rules that you can't do that because it shot it to like super sales. And I think now they can do it, but you have to like select it. Yeah, opt in. Thank you. You have to opt in to get it.
I mean, it was super clever. Whoever originated the idea is super clever. So whatever. Yep. Doesn't matter. Who cares what the Billboard charts say anyway? Nobody cares.
What's your favorite song from the album?
Oh my gosh. I think I like the one where she's like, "Bang bang, shot you dead."
Oh, Bang Bang, yeah.
That could be wrong. I can't remember them all.
Girl Gone Wild. Girl Gone Wild.
Oh yeah, Girl Gone Wild. I choose that. I changed my answer.
That's such a great video. Shoot, that's some erotica shit right there.
I remember loving the performance of the Bang Bang song on the tour. It was really cool.
Yes.
Okay, Rebel Heart, March
Rebel
6, 2015, Heart. Which we love in the movie. Who was it again?
Burt Marcus, same as MDNA.
Okay. This we affectionately refer to as Erotica Part 2. I feel that way. I don't know if you do. Let's talk about the standard edition.
So I want to say, I did not realize the standard edition was that.
I didn't either for a long time.
Because all of the
promo
like
was...
the electronic, like the iTunes, all that, use the licorice rap photo.
I think this is the one that came with your ticket for the... Wait, Rebel Heart tour. Okay, I didn't go to that tour, I don't know. But this allegedly is the cover, so... Which is so strange because it's very different from the other one.
It's very different, and...
She looks great.
I don't know. The issue I had with this, and I don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg, but Gwen Stefani had this look. She had this look. I don't know if it was before or after, but this red lip, platinum hair. Gwen Stefani did this, and I think that she did it first, and to see Madonna, like... And also, this is a serious throwback, and almost to the point of she's doing something she already did. And Madonna supposedly hates to repeat herself. And I'm like...
She looks like a beautiful, mature woman here, though. She doesn't look like she's trying too hard to be... It's a little simple, but again, it's not the one that we saw. The one, the deluxe edition is the one with her head wrapped in all the wires. And that's the one that's in everybody's memory.
Well, and this one here, too, the standard, why is she wearing a sweater?
Yeah, it's a very just like, lame sweater.
You could get that at, like, Goodwill or something. It's probably where it came from. Like, it's, like, nothing.
No, the deluxe edition. What do you think of this?
The deluxe edition, that's what I'm catching up, I think, with this. That's with the cross, right? Oh, no, deluxe is with the wrappies.
The wraps.
Right. The licorice. I hate it. I hate this
You do hate it?
I really hate it, yes. It just doesn't make any sense. And I thought it was inspired by some artist. And every time that's what I thought.
It came out.
Okay, it did. And I was like, okay, fine. And she got in trouble because she, like, took this licorice wrap and put it on, like, Martin Luther King's face and stuff.
Oh, right.
Like, she was saying she was comparing herself to them. I hate this album cover. I'm sorry. I just don't get it.
I like it.
Why do you make yourself look uglier on your album cover? Like,
she's like tied up like a Thanksgiving or a turkey or a Christmas ham or something.
Easter ham.
Okay, another polarizing cover. I kind of liked it. Let's move on to 1 second.
It makes her nose look weird too. It makes her nose look like it's being pushed, like it's flattened.
Oh, but yes, but let's just comment that it is a great album.
Oh, yeah, the album itself. My favorite song is Ghost Town.
Ghost Town is good. I like Iconic, Sex.
Oh, yes.
I mean, all of them. This is one where I like all the songs, which is why this is, I think, the last Madonna album where I liked all the songs. So
many good ones. And even the song Illuminati, produced by Kanye. Hot song. Hot.
So many good songs. You should, if you haven't heard this album, you should absolutely check it out. The Super Deluxe, I don't remember ever seeing this anywhere. I don't think I even have this. It's 2 CDs. Do you have this?
I think I do. I think this is the one that I have. I love. This is some erotica shit here. It is hot.
Yeah, lots of sex, dark themes. Do you like this cover with the red tint?
Yes, I like this the best. Like, this should have been it, even though she never would have done this for a standard version. She should have done one and used this one.
3 very different covers. The first one is just like a classy lady, you know, just shopping in her Land's End catalog. The second one is like artsy and Museum of Modern Art. And the third one's like Peep Show.
It's totally hot. Now, I would have cropped it a bit. Like, I think you could make this look a little bit more cooler, but the image itself, I'm here for it.
And what was this album scented as? What scent did they put on this?
I think the scent was
White Diamonds.
Well, I was gonna say like cafeteria, restroom. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Mexican restaurant. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I love this.
Yeah, this is a really good era. The tour, they did film the tour, and we watched it on TV, and I hated the way it was filmed. Just a side note.
But it had a lot of amazing costumes.
We'll do a tour video where we'll talk about how we feel about the different tours, because that we're all over the place with our opinions on that. But just quickly, the Confessions tour, which was released on DVD, was filmed beautifully. Mm-hmm. The Rebel Heart tour was filmed like shit, and so was the next one. Okay, Madam X, June 14th, 2019, a day that will live in infamy.
Mm-mm-mm.
There was a lot of talk about this album from her leading up to its release.
Yes, the photography was Ricardo Gomes.
He's currently in hiding.
Is he really? I don't know that story.
I made it up.
Oh, I thought something happened, like he's being canceled, but no, he's like, he hates himself and like his life's ruined. Yeah, this standard version never should have existed. I'm like, why would she paint herself? It's supposedly supposed to look like her mother and also Frida Kahlo.
Oh, that's disturbing. I didn't know that.
And don't you love it's supposed to look like her mother, and it made it look like her mouth is sewn shut like they would do to.
Yeah, she looks like a corpse.
She looks like a corpse.
No disrespect. I hate the writing across her eyebrows. I understand the reference. I still don't like it. I don't think Frida Kahlo, great. She's great. She's super talented. Everybody loved her. I don't like the inspiration with the eyebrows. A unibrow doesn't work for everybody.
Well, why would you put an album cover out where you look like a corpse and hide the title and hide your name? And that's basically what she did here.
I don't know. There are multiple versions of this. Let's look at what they had at Target. The Target version, where she's got a head wrap on and some blonde curls. This is a cute title, or a cute cover. I mean,
I feel like she's trying to look. First of all, I love it, and if you look inside of the artwork, is gorgeous. Where she has the blonde hair and she's wearing that like see-through dress that she did in the I Rise video, or Rise or whatever that song is. Except for where the wording is, I kind of love this look, even though I feel like it looks like her eyes are upside down. But I don't know if she's trying to look like a missionary or something, or like a...
I still see this as like a...
Revolutionary?
Yeah, something like that. Something like Les Mis. She does have beautiful eyes. That's like her best feature.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And she's plump. She's got a big old bottom lip in this one. I mean...
And now it has 2 extra songs at Target. I don't remember what they are. Don't ask me what my favorite song from this album is, because I don't.
I have one. It's I did love I Don't Search, I Find. I like that one a lot, and I still love Crave. I think Crave should have been a hit if it was Madonna wasn't, if it was by someone else maybe, or people weren't so biased against Madonna. That's a pretty fucking good song, pop song.
Yeah.
Pop song.
Which one's the one where she goes, "That's why I don't smoke that"?
No, that song is Garbaggio. That is God Control. That is a crap song.
It's a stupid video with all
people
songs.
Say they love that song as her best from this album, and I say you are incorrect. Wrong.com. That song is
It's
crap.
worth mentioning, though, that she did do... remember when she did her performance at the Billboard Awards? This is where we got the funny video that maybe we'll post if I can find it, of her laying on the hotel room floor or whatever backstage. And she's like, here I am at the Billboard Awards performing. I'm not nominated for anything. I never am. I'm paraphrasing, but the way she says it is so funny. It's very. I'm not nominated again.
No expense has been spared. Dressing room at the American Billboard Awards, where I will be honored for nothing, as usual.
And then she goes out to perform. What's the lead single? Medellin, which
worst single ever.
Worst single because nobody knew how to pronounce it. It was
she just gave Maluma a career though. If please note.
His fine ass. She sure did give him a career. This is where she allegedly spent $4 to $5 million on holograms to do for the performance. Which
and they were awful.
It was a cool, but I'm like, $5 million?
For this crap? Give it to charity. What are you doing, bitch? So there is another cover that not a lot of people know about for this album.
The guitar one?
The guitar one, where she has the dark hair, which Madonna, with that dark hair when she was wearing blue, or she did that photo shoot in black and white, which is in the tub, gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Yeah. Yeah, this is pretty. I kind of like it.
This might be the best of the three for me, to be honest. Like, just because it's so different.
Yeah, I kind of like that old blue and white tile in the background.
And her blue, yes.
Where did she record this album? What country was it?
Portugal.
Is that where Madeleine McCann went missing?
It is. I think Madonna actually did kidnap Madeleine McCann.
Allegedly.
No, I'm kidding.
Joking.
Allegedly.
No, she was real optimistic about this album because she put out a huge box, deluxe box set
with a cassette.
A cassette tape. Everybody's doing that now. I think that's so dumb.
It's crap. There's no cassette players. Go to a yard sale, maybe.
I did get a cheap one off Amazon. They make it's like $5. Got a cute little pink cassette. Will I ever use it? No. But this big ass box set. This is stuff when you're like 18 to 20, you're like, oh my god, I have to have it. And now we're like,
Well, actually, this is more like when you're like 40 or 50 and you're like still a big fan and have disposable income, you'll buy all of this shit.
And you have like a rich husband that's like bankrolling your Madonna collection. I remember watching a TV show with some guy. It was a Barbie collector, like a psychotic Barbie collector, in their whole house. And his husband just went to work every day and was like, bye, sweetie, stepping over boxes of Barbies. And like he just funded this guy's Barbie hobby.
Well, I have a friend who collects Madonna magazines, and you would be shocked at his collection. Shocked, I tell you.
I told you I used to have a stack of those Icon magazines, and I gave them to an ex-boyfriend.
What the hell?
Yeah, it's one of the biggest mistakes of my life. Not the relationship, screw that. I want those magazines back.
I used to have amazing Madonna. I had all the erotica ones from like Vanity Fair, Vogue. I don't know that I have them anymore. I have some in a basement somewhere for storage.
We put a bunch of the covers at the beginning of this video, but that doesn't even scratch the surface of how many covers she has. So many.
We're to your favorite.
We're done with the official studio releases of just her main albums. Now we're going to compilations, greatest hits, etc. Starting with "You Can Dance."
Your favorite.
November 17th, 1987. This cover has always enraged me. I don't know if it's the red and I'm like a bull and she's like, I don't understand. I don't know why she's wearing that. It's too much red. I don't think her makeup looks great. Her hair. I just hate the whole thing. I hate this cover.
Yeah, I know you do. And I was excited to talk about it because I knew
I hate the album too, by the way.
Okay, so I do not hate the album. I think if she didn't have the hat, this might be better. But she was like, obsessed with like Spanish music at the time. And like, she had songs out that were along the lines of that, I guess we'll say. She had La Isla Bonita.
Spanish Eyes.
Spanish Eyes. Well, that didn't come out till after
Spanish Thighs.
Pray for Spanish Eyes was on Like a Prayer, which came out after this. But she had a thing with this, and yes, Madonna's always done something like this. I mean, look at when she put out Madame X, and when she's done, what else? Nothing Really Matters. Like, she's used other cultures all the time for her art, and this isn't a bad album. It's just very dated.
I thought it was too early in her career to be putting something like that out, but maybe I'm wrong.
Okay, Paula Abdul did it with Shut Up and Dance, and it's pretty...
Paula
really
Abdul?
Great... Yeah.
When did that come out?
That came out after Forever Your Girl, so it was like her second release.
Oh,
and it has a
okay.
great remix of It Ain't, whatever that one is, The Way That You Love Me. That's a great remix.
Paula Abdul at the Billboard Awards. I'm gonna have to watch that performance after this. Okay.
And she just did the white party and watch the Billboard one. Anyway, this is just very dated. I don't hate it, and I'm very irritated that when Madonna's releasing her Finally Enough Love, the first thing she made available on iTunes was a remix from this. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
This is not making people want to buy this, girl. I don't know why you chose this. It's the first thing. Stupid.
Yeah. Okay, next was the Immaculate Collection, November 9th, 1990.
Oh, by the way, I have here who the photographer was for that. Hold on, I have
There's
it.
no picture on the cover.
No, of the You Can Dance.
Oh.
I have who it is. Hold on. What did I do with that? I know we're like hitting them all. I got it here. It's Herbert's.
Okay.
So, okay, moving on. So, Immaculate Collection.
Now this was a big hit, right? I mean, this was a really solid collection.
Oh my god, this is like sold like 30 million copies or something.
This was huge. And she's not even on the cover, so.
Huge bankroll for Madonna. She probably could have just released this and quit. Like, creating after this. That's why Madonna was so daring after this, because she's like, I just made more money they had to like open a second, what is it, the currency, just to make enough money to pay her for this. Like, design is by Jerry and John Hyder. The photography inside, that iconic polka dot, the hat, Herbert's.
Love it. It's simple, gets the job done, and it's a really solid collection of her hits. So,
and when she put this out and the remix on here of Like a Prayer and Express Yourself, I mean, come on, it's so fucking good. And Justify My Love and Rescue Me should have been a bigger hit, in my opinion. I don't know why it wasn't. But the looks from this album, yes. This is how you do a greatest hits. If anybody's paying attention, Taylor Swift or who the fuck ever, this is how you do it. You make it almost to where it's like handing you the Bible.
Yeah, that's a very good way of putting it.
Yes, like here is
the blueprint.
Religious text. And people will eat that shit up. And they did.
Yeah, it's perfect. Something to Remember, November 3rd, 1995. This is the collection of Madonna's slow jams, ballads, easy listening.
Yes. Now, this album cover is annoying because I hate when she takes the album cover straight from a magazine photo shoot, because this is for a Versace ad by Mario Testino, and I just hate that she didn't do something new because I had seen this before.
Yeah. I remember like the liner notes for this. She was just kind of like, without any pomp and circumstance, here's a collection of hits. I mean, it's just like, I used to listen to this to go to sleep. It's very just like chill, relaxing, no big issue. But as far as the cover, yes, it could have been more creative.
Well, that and, Take a Bow is Madonna's biggest hit ever, which is so crazy because it's after Erotica, and then it was so huge, she tried to repeat it more than once. When she did Ray of Light, she did like her demo. She was working with Babyface again, and she's like, this shit sounds too much like Take a Bow, you're out. So she got rid of that. But meanwhile, before that, she did this, and then she did the sequel to Take a Bow, that You'll See song, which I think is a great song. But that song, One More Chance on this, no. But this album cover just didn't excite me.
It's a classy kind of no in-your-face sex, no violence, no drugs.
It just tells me she didn't really care about this. I mean, one of the singles was Love Don't Live Here Anymore, which was basically just re-releasing a song.
Yeah, this may have just been an obligation being fulfilled for the label. So,
and the video for that, she's just walking around a pillar.
I remember that.
It's stupid.
You abandoned me. Okay, GHV2 released November 12th, 2001.
Yes, and it's from a 2001 N-Style magazine shoot by Reagan Cameron. So, I mean, an N-Style magazine. And look how photoshopped this shit is. Her mouth looks like a monster mouth. Like, I don't understand what happened.
You're not into it?
I'm not. I mean, you didn't even look like Madonna. Actually, her eye looks like Michael Jackson's eye.
I do love her eyeliner, though.
It looks like Michael Jackson.
Yeah. Or LaToya. I remember this just being, it's just another greatest hit, so.
It doesn't look like her false eyelashes coming off, how her eye makeup's done.
Yeah, it looks like they have it glued below her eyeline, so it's...
Bianca Del Rio realness.
She started it here. Not much to comment on here. It's a good selection, again, collection of her hits.
Sure.
I like the title.
Didn't have any new songs, did it? It had no new songs.
Did it have Revolver?
Nope, that's on Celebration, so she didn't do anything new. That's why this wasn't as huge as Immaculate Collection. She just didn't have any new songs.
Now let's talk about this piece of shit, remixed and revisited November 24th, 2003.
This was an expensive coaster. I could set my drink on this. Like, just...
I remember going to the Gap, like a fucking loser, to get this $5. I think you had to buy a t-shirt, too, or something. It was just it was a whole racket to get this piece of shit. And the only reason I wanted it, of course, this was after she kissed Britney in the VMAs. And I wanted that song because it was like the live recording quote, even though Britney's vocals were pre-recorded. But I don't even remember what else is on it.
Well, okay, so this is photograph is by Reagan Cameron this is Madonna's Gap ad that she was shilling the Gap. And this is very lazy styling. And she's wearing a wife beater and jeans, for Christ's sake. And Missy Elliott, slumming it, in my opinion, working on these songs, not really slumming it. But couple things real quick about this. When she performed that live with Britney and them, and when she's saying, everybody comes to Hollywood, she hit a sour-ass note that they fixed for this I'm sure.
I have to go back and listen to that.
Because she goes, everybody comes to Hollywood, and they fixed it for this. I'm pretty positive. Now, listen to it and tell me your opinion, but that's just my thoughts.
Oh, I will.
I like the rock version of American Life on this, I think. And that Your Honesty song that was recorded around Bedtime Story. Go on, sorry.
Oh, that's okay. No, I really don't remember much about this except for that one song. But yeah, I think it was at the Gap, so you can get it on eBay now for a penny.
Oh, probably.
Another greatest hits is Celebration, September 18th, 2009. I love this cover.
I do as well, because I feel like for a greatest hits, you could take an old picture and fuck with it, like she did for Finally Enough Love. That's fine with me. And this has the song Celebration, which was actually a very pretty good dance song. A little bit, in my personally, kind of a lazy, it's kind of a lazy release. Like she just wanted a new song and just kind of rehashed Holiday and some like 70s good times. You know, like I love the song Revolver with Lil Wayne.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And then she did that I'm So Stupid song, or whatever it's called.
That song.
It's so cool. It's so cool. I think that came out this time, I think.
Yeah, that's cool. There were, I think, 2 versions of this. Maybe one had more tracks. I can't really recall. But
probably, yeah.
If so...
One cover was Silver, right?
Oh, yes, I think you're right. Sure. Oh, no, that was a Celebration single. You're right.
That was a single. Okay.
So it's been about a decade, so it's time for another greatest hits. We have Finally Enough Love coming out August 19th, 2022. That's the physical release. The digital and streaming, it's all over the place. It's very hard to pinpoint a release date for anything now because it's all over the digital, online, in-store. I mean, so forgive us if this is not exactly correct, but the physical stuff is coming out in August that you can buy on her website or Target or, I don't know, QVC,
right?
And it's the whole thing of it's 50 number ones, alleged number ones remixed. So it's not just the original songs, I don't think, a lot of the time. Well, some of them say radio edit. Anyway, let's talk about the covers first, and then we can talk about the content. So the one disc version with 16 tracks for the minimalist has the black and white close-up of Madonna's face with a little grain in it. And again, with the Frida Kahlo name written across her eyebrows. But she looks beautiful.
Sure. I don't have a lot of opinion about this because this just looks like an Instagram photo she might have posted or doctored up a bit. Like, it just... The fact that she's posting so many photos that look kind of something like this, I'm just like, okay, sure, I guess.
I'm glad she's never messed with her nose that I know of.
That we know of, right? Yeah, it's fine. It just looks like an Instagram photo. Like the next version that has the 50 tracks, now that is a little different story. That's super cute. Like, this is a cute cover. It's cute. I love it. It's a definitely throwback. I don't know about the color choice, because has there ever really been that color? It's kind of yellow.
I don't know when one
Maybe
that's
it's just
from.
that image, but I feel like this hair color is off. Like this picture is clearly from like Madonna first album era because of all the bracelets and shit.
The bracelets, yeah.
But the hair color, I don't know. I feel like that's like a filter.
Well, they definitely messed with the colors on these. That may have been a black and white photo that they added. Who knows?
Yeah, true.
But I love all the writing, all the track titles, and
I mean, this is probably from that same photo shoot as the first album. She has the same necklaces, all the
think you're
bracelets.
right, yeah.
It's probably the same.
which would make sense. Kind of let's go all the way back, even though she looks. I won't say that. 50 alleged number ones remixed and sometimes revisited and reworked. Revived, resuscitated. Let me get to
Reanimated.
Reanimated. The next one is, here's a picture of 3 CDs. I don't know who's really buying this other than collectors. Nobody is really buying this. But it's pretty to look at. I love all the different artwork styles.
I hope maybe inside there's some details about the recordings and the remixers and who's doing it and stuff. Because I think I read online that out of the 50 tracks, there's only 5 or something that's been unreleased, which is so infuriating. There's only 5.
It is, and you can leave those frozen pieces of shit off here. Those stupid...
And they're not on here, so I don't understand either what she's doing.
Okay. The Walmart exclusive. Walmart got the red ones. I don't know why Target didn't get the red vinyl.
Would that not make the most sense? But hey, whatever.
It would be really cool to have this. I doubt that I'll buy it. The Amazon exclusive, they have silver. That looks cool. I don't think I've ever seen a silver vinyl.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
And then, of course, the classic black ones, which I believe are just on her website or other retailers.
Black is slimming, so
it is for double vinyls. And then let's see what's next. Will you be buying any of these?
No.
Okay.
I don't know that I'll even listen to the whole thing. Actually, I'm lying. It sounds like a turn on. It sounds like you could turn it on like on a Saturday afternoon while you're cleaning your apartment.
Yeah, or gym music or something.
Gym music. Things where you don't really have to pay attention.
Cardio. Target, they get the clear vinyl. That's pretty cool too.
Sure.
Clear vinyl. Let's see what else. I mean, there are 100 versions. They're really optimistic about what's the public's desire for this. Let me move on. Okay, then on Madonna.com, if you just hit the lottery, you can buy the 5.
You're right. If you're like rich as hell.
The 5 LP red and black vinyl collection. I mean, it's already out of stock, so clearly she has enough crazy psycho fans to buy this.
Oh, sure. She totally does. Madonna still has so many, she still rakes it in. It's not that she just has criticized a lot.
I mean, this is definitely strictly for collectors, but if you have the money and you want to get that, good for Madonna does have a pretty good online store. She's got good merch.
She does. She always has.
Let's talk about the soundtracks. There are only a few.
Soundtracks, only a few.
Who's that girl? July 21st, 1987.
Yes, this movie was a huge flop for Madonna, and it is very hard to watch, but I still do love it.
I kind of love it too. Isn't this with the tiger, the big tiger in the movie? And she talks in this. I mean, I can't even do the voice.
I'm sure she pissed Cyndi Lauper off so big with this.
Oh, I never thought of that.
I'm sure was fucking furious because Cyndi did the voice. She's done this similar look.
Like, she was channeling Cyndi Lauper in this movie. The cover's stupid.
The cover is. You know what I think is one thing about this cover is her makeup just looks so bad.
It does look really bad.
It's really bad.
Drag Race Season 1 makeup.
Oh, and her pointy lips like that. That was shame.
And her eyebrows are a little too thick and not. They're not tended to correctly.
No, and that line on the left, well, if you're looking at her on the left side, it looks like a wig because she has those roots. That's like a perfect line. Like somebody went in there and shaved off that line, make those lips pointy. Like somebody went in and fucked that all up.
Fucked it up. I'm Breathless. Dick Tracy, May 22nd, 1990.
I love I'm Breathless so much. It was so important to me at the time, and someone ruined the ending to this movie on me, which was a big tragedy of my life, and I remember the moment that it happened. But I love this. It's perfect for this movie. I love the styling, the font. I love the album cover because Warren Beatty is on it as well. This is totally iconic. Vogue is from this album.
That blows my mind because I don't know. I just feel like Vogue should have been from like a strictly Madonna, like nothing to do with Dick Tracy.
Yeah, just a single like standalone.
Yeah, or something. I mean, I don't mind as long as we got it. I don't care, but
it was supposed to be a B-side to Keep It Together.
That is wild.
It is wild. And then they had it, and they were probably like, because nobody did standalone singles back then. They always were attached to something. And so they were like, okay, we'll just put it on this. And they did. And yes, that is a very odd thing that this is at the end.
Because to me, like, Vogue is like the ultimate Madonna song, so for it to be on a Dick Tracy album. Is she the only artist on this?
Well, yes, but she sings a song with Mandy Patinkin, What Can You Lose, which is an amazing song. This whole album is great. Even I'm Going Bananas, I think is fun.
I like that.
Clearly. Like More, I love More, the song More. And Stephen Sondheim wrote several songs from this album. And she did Sooner or Later at the Academy Awards famously, and she went with Michael Jackson. That's the one that she went with him. And I love I'm Breathless because it led into the Blonde Ambition tour. I mean... Well,
then it's, then it's automatically valid.
It is incredible. I love I'm Breathless. I think it's up there in my favorites. And some people say this is a soundtrack, and some people don't. I have a hard time because it's all Madonna, so it's hard to say it's a soundtrack. And artists anymore don't do this. Like, they don't do entire soundtracks of non-instrumental songs. Like Prince did Batman, Madonna did I'm Breathless. Like, not a lot of artists do this. They don't. I know,
and it's really cool when they do. So I wish more people would do it.
I agree.
A whole Ariana Grande.
Okay, well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Back that ass up. I don't know about that shit. Like, Lady Gaga, I'm surprised she didn't do that with, like, A Star Is Born or something.
I hate to say it, but she's probably somebody who could do it and get away with it.
Probably.
Wait for our Lady Gaga video. It's never happening. Okay, Evita, November 12th, 96. Evita is when, of course, Madonna starred in the movie, and this was when she was really working on her voice.
Yes.
Let's talk about the cover first, and then... Okay, the cover is pretty boring. It looks like a still from the movie.
And that Breathless one was by Patrick de Marchalier or whatever. Again, like I meant to say that. He was that. So, let's see. Evita. Yeah, that's just a still from the movie. I don't know. This movie means a lot to me, though. I've seen it so many times, and it is really good. Sorry, Patti LuPone, but this is the Madonna, the Evita for me.
Oh, yeah. Patti LuPone said Madonna's a movie killer. And I'm like, well, she really, I think, worked hard on this, and she did a good job. Didn't she get a Golden Globe?
She did.
So put that in your pipe and smoke it. I still love Patti LuPone.
She was pregnant during this.
Oh, right.
Then the movie, she got pregnant right during filming. You can see it in the movie, which has probably infuriated Alex Parker, the director of the movie. Like, oh, fuck. Now we have to try to make it look like you're not pregnant. You stupid bitch.
So, it's definitely a different... If you're familiar with Patti LuPone's Evita, it's definitely a different take on it, but it's still a very valid and good one. Let's talk about Madonna's live albums from her concerts.
Yes. A lot of these are pictures from the show.
Yeah, so we'll talk a little more about content too. But I'm going to tell you a secret was bundled with the DVD. It was kind of a documentary / live recording. It was kind of a hybrid. June 20th, 2006. I absolutely love this. I remember this is one of my favorite Madonna releases because I love the little documentary that it comes with, and I think this is from Reinvention Tour, and I love that tour.
I was there, and it was one of the best shows I've ever seen. It's one of the most fun, one of the funnest shows I've ever seen. It was so fun. That version of, I think she did Celebration at the end. Or did she do, was that after? She did Holiday. She did Holiday at the end, and it was this really fun version. Like, in the Vogue version of this with that rhinestoned, I don't know. Yes, corset and stuff. Oh.
And the hair with the bow. That opening Vogue is one of my all-time favorite Madonna performances. I did not see this tour, unfortunately. It's such a bummer, but I love seeing the footage of it. you know, forever documented on this DVD. It's online now. All the shit's on YouTube too, but I love that Vogue performance. So this is really good. You should pick this up if you don't have it. The Confessions Tour, January 26, 2007.
Such a great show.
A really, really fun show. And again, this is one that's filmed really, really well, in my opinion.
I agree. It's very good. It's very stylish and interesting imagery, and yes.
I love her performance of Like a Virgin when she's on the horse, the carousel horse, and it's going up and down and she's writhing on it. That's a favorite. Now, next is a weird one. The Sticky and Sweet Tour from March 26, 2010. This is one of the tours I don't like.
No, I never even saw it all because I hated it. I hate those stupid heart sunglasses she was wearing. Like, I hated all of that. I do really like this album cover, though. I think this album cover is hot. Like, I love what she looks like here. I love her bangs and her hair and everything. But the show is just...
It's just not...
It's so sad that we have this, but we don't have a proper release of, like, Blonde Ambition or Girly Show.
Well, there is the Girly Show.
Well, there's not an audio release.
Oh, okay. And the Blonde Ambition was on Laserdisc, and we have bootleg copies. And my point is, no, there's not official, but this is all over YouTube now. So if you want to see the Blonde Ambition or Girly Show, you can see it on YouTube.
You can.
Sticky and Sweet, I have tried watching clips from this, and I find it really annoying. It's like trying too hard to be. This is hard candy era, so it's like trying to be young and cool, and it's just... I don't need to see LMFAO and DNC, whoever the fuck was there with her.
In the house tonight.
Midlife crisis.
Yep.
Let's move on. What's the next one here?
MDNA tour. We saw it.
Oh, the MDNA World Tour. September 6, 2013. Oh, by the way, the Confessions one was also... All of these, I think, are video and audio. The MDNA tour, which we saw and was great, was filmed terribly. So, of course, what they do, they put it right on a DVD.
Of course.
With audio. And, I don't know, thoughts. The cover is just like the tour program, I think.
Yeah, boring. It's probably by the same person who did the album. I don't have the exact name of it. It's fine. Like, all this whole MDNA stuff was just a turnoff. It was too much. It was trying too hard. Not as hard as the Sticky and Sweet, but it still was... The show we saw was great. Like,
it was
no
great.
shade on that. Just... I don't know.
I'm thankful that I did get to see Madonna, and she was still great on that tour. So, but I have a big problem with, because, you know, these concerts are really expensive to go to. I don't know if I'll get to see Madonna again, but the Rebel Heart tour was next. I actually had purchased tickets to this, and then I sold them back because I didn't go. September 15th, 2007. The cover is just her performing, but I will say this was my favorite outfit she wore on the tour. That rhinestone
I didn't
fringe.
love this tour. It was okay. It was fine. Like, I don't even remember that much of it. Like, that's how much I...
Yeah, I watched it once and didn't care for it. This is where she was like body surfing on somebody on a stripper pole. Do you remember that?
I remember that. Yes, I do.
So this, again, I didn't like the way it was filmed. A lot of weird not close-ups. I don't know. It's not good. Madam X, The Theater Experience. Oh man, October 8th, 2021. It's too soon.
Yeah, I don't know that we should even talk about it. It is such crap.
If you want to see somebody type on a typewriter for 2 hours...
It's Vogue in a trench coat. I called Gloria all red when I saw that, and I was trying to get a case against Madonna.
With an eye patch.
Yeah, I wanted to sue her for trying to ruin my life.
This just did not speak to me, so...
And it didn't work. She got hurt, couldn't finish it. They had to do reshoots for this. She had to go back and put the costumes on, and she was bragging online that the costumes still fit her. And they had to do reshoots, like she was still performing when she wasn't. That's so annoying. Which I get it, COVID and shit, but
she did get COVID, and she was injured. Her knee was all fucked up and shit.
Cool.
Not good costumes, hated the stage, did not care for any of it.
No.
That's the last Madonna release, and for the live one. Anyway, now we have finally enough love. So thank you for watching. We will be doing more Madonna videos. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Now I just want to tell you thank you to Manscaped for sponsoring this video. Sweaty sack summer is approaching, and it's time for you to prioritize the comfort of your crotch. That's why the kings of crotch comfort, Manscaped, have spent 2 years designing the most comfortable boxer briefs out there. We've had the honor of testing out these new boxers, and we can say it's the softest fabric of any underwear. It's so breathable that it's like gills for your groin. They even trademarked the jewel pouch, so you know it's serious. We think it's time you invest in your family jewels, so let your bulge breathe and get 20% off and free shipping by using our code, DRAG20, at manscaped.com. When you check out, you can also get the lawnmower, the body hair trimmer. If you're a furry guy, if you're a bear, and you like to just trim it up and keep it nice and tight, get the lawnmower 4.0 thing. It's great. You love it too, right, Jack?
Yes, it's all good. That's some great shit.
They've got so many lotions and potions and good stuff, and you get 20% off and free shipping with our code DRAG20. So thank you very much. Be sure to follow us on all social media at Drag Dungeon and join our Patreon at patreon.com/dragdungeon, where we do weekly bonus Hot Topic shows, talk about our personal lives, and we have a back catalog of 30 plus hour-long episodes for you to just take a deep dive into all the shit we care about.
Yes.
Thank you very much for listening and watching, and we will talk to you next time.
Thanks for listening and watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye.